G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for episode number 7 of our Hardcore Death Knight Achievements run. Where this episode, we've hit level 35, and at level 35 there's a few things you can do. The first thing we're going to do, and the easiest thing, is we're going to come over here to Duncan, or actually we're not going to do it here. We're going to go to Homestead, and we're going to use the blacksmith there. I can't remember what bonus Duncan gives, but Angrim gives armor as a bonus crafted line on things he makes, and this guy gives aether resistance. So we want to make a Devil's Cord. And just looking at the chain belt that I have at the moment, I don't care about that fire resist, the pierce resistance, I don't care about either. I would like some more chaos, I would like some more aether, and I would like some more vitality. We should get, I think, 3 to 5% aether resistance just from crafting with this guy. We've already got the stuff to make one of these. What do we need? Wardstones. Can make 5 of these pretty easy, and I think we're kind of short on scrap. Yeah, we can make maximum 4 of these. I'm going to make 1, and unless the affix that it comes with, crafted belt will come with 1 affix only, so it will not be an impervious Devil's Belt of Supremacy. It can either be impervious or of Supremacy. It can't have both. So there's my 1 belt. Now, unless this is absolutely horrible, of celerity or something, I don't even know if I can roll that, but unless it's absolutely horrible, we're going with this. Resistant. That's absolutely horrible. Okay. I did want Chaos Res on it, and I kind of got that, the 2% there. I'm going to make 1 more. I am conscious of the fact that this is using a lot of scrap. Okay, Glacial, that's... ironically, that's actually better. Because the Cold and Lightning is worthless, and because this has Aether and the 2% Chaos, I actually think this one is better, in spite of it being cold. Okay, no, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, so thing number the first is ticked off the list. We are obviously going to keep our add-on, and that goes back on the belt. Thing number the second is do a bunch of quest turn-ins. Let's go ahead and just give this guy his dynamite. That does get us the ability to dismantle items now, so if I had some dynamite left, I could throw in, say, for example, this one. It would cost me a dynamite, I could blow it up, I would get some scrap. Level 36 is 3 points in Oleron's Rage. Now, in the comments on a previous episode, someone mentioned that Menhir's Bulwark would surely be better because it has damage absorption and also physical damage and increases healing effects. And yes, you can absolutely take Menhir's Bulwark. The way I'm kind of looking at it, though, is this is already a tank. I think I would prefer to have the additional damage and movement speed. Speaking of movement speed, what are we up to? We're up to 132. Yeah, I think I would rather have the extra damage and go faster juice. The offensive ability on this is also quite good. One of the things I noticed with the final build is offensive ability is quite low. We're doing okay at the moment, but it's going to be quite low. So I'm putting 1 point in physique here, and I'm taking Oleron's Rage. I'm not taking Menhir's Bulwark. The other thing I will just point out as well is this belt is +1 to all skills in Soldier, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16 skill points. This belt is worth 5 1/3 levels of skill points. +1 to all skills is incredibly powerful. I can't even begin to list all of the benefits we're getting from that +1 to all skills in Soldier. So even if you don't have Of the Grove on Mogara's Fangs, make sure you at least have Mogara's Fangs. I promise you, it's very powerful, it's very worth it. Right, with that out of the way, we have a couple more people to talk to for quests. We may even hit 37 from this. I say as I get nothing from that particular one. We'll head back to Homestead, and I also have a couple of quests to turn in for Kaiman's Chosen, so we'll go do that. And then what I think is going to be one of the last things we need to farm before we just smash the rest of normal. But we'll get to that in a second. What do we get? I was expecting a blue item from her. I'm a little bit disappointed. No, I'm no longer disappointed, but I'm also freshly disappointed. Okay, that belt is obviously no good to us. So we talked to Creed, and he's very impressed, and he says he will see us at Fort Ikon. We don't talk to this guy, and we have some dog tags for Old Mate here. So yes, here's your dog tags. Thank you very much for my reputation. We have a cleared out lumber mill for this guy, so thank you very much. I appreciate the reputation and the, I think, scrap? Yeah. And we're still not respected with the Black Legion, which is unfortunate. However, while we are in Homestead, we do have a little bit of shopping to do. This here, this is the only thing stopping me from crafting the Juggernaut relic. So respected with the Black Legion will get me a really nice relic. However, Quartermaster for Homestead with respected. What do we actually need with this guy? Spined Carapace. Okay. This particular component is used in the creation of the Juggernaut relic, so I want that one. I have all the other blueprints with the exception of one, which we're going to go get in a moment. And the other thing I'm here for is these boots, which you can shop for a couple more of these. You can refresh the shops and get better versions if you want. I'm just going to take those. And if your gloves are not particularly good, these ones are alright. The Impervious of the Void Harbinger are better in my opinion though, so I'm just going to leave those. As far as hats, I don't think these ones are particularly amazing. The proc on that is very, very nice, but I'm going to keep my Flesh Warped Cask. Right, so we'll eat that recipe, we'll chuck those on. What did I just lose for resistances? I lost 6% Aether, and I gained some Elemental and some Chaos. I may have to uncap the bleeding resistances here in a moment, but for now we are good. Let's go talk to, where are we? Sorrow's Bastion. We'll go talk to the Kaimans. We'll get the next quest from them, which I think is going to be to go into Fort Haron? Yeah, Fort Haron. But we'll go talk to them. And we have one little stop to make on the way. So, absolutely, yep. Okay. And yeah, it is Master Ravok in Fort Haron. Okay, before we get to that though, there is one more thing we have to get. And anyone who's ever made Juggernaut, or who has looked at the recipe, knows what it is. Anyone who knows where I'm going has also probably guessed. We need to kill Voldrak the Destroyer until he drops the recipe for the Mistborn Talisman. So, the good news is, if you don't have your Force Wave weapon yet, because, you know, it requires level 40, or you just didn't farm one, then make sure you kill the Stonewort Trolls. They can drop the weapon I'm currently using. Or alternatively, you can kill Voldrak, and his weapon is actually pretty good as well. So I'm going to run up here. I'm going to kill him once, and then I'm going to pause the recording until I've killed him, or until I've got the drop. Grimtool says it's a 20% drop chance. Experience tells me that that may be a lie. Level 37, 3 more in Oleron's Rage. And you should be at the point now where you can stand in front of Voldrak and just beat him. Just straight up tank him and kill him. And if you get below half, just use a health potion. It doesn't cost you anything. You'll be selling these before long. Unfortunately, he hasn't dropped it for me, so I will just note we are up to 6 hours 20 minutes, and I have just hit 37, so I'll see you back here when he drops the blueprint for me. I also feel like I have to point out, this Ancient Savage totem here, I recommend not clicking on this. This has an annoying habit of spawning the golems that will throw rocks at you, and it has an annoying habit of spawning 5 or 6 of them at a time. It is very, very likely that all 6 of them will throw rocks at you at the same time, and if all 6 of them hit you, you are dead and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Anyhow, back to the farming. So this is the third time, I think, that I've killed Voldrak, and he dropped me a nice upgrade for my weapon. This is an upgrade because, specifically, it's a higher level version. So yeah, Force Wave just went from 5.6 to 8.3, up to 6.7 to 10,000. Also, Voldrak's Crusher, this is Superior of Blood. If this was Superior of Ruin, it would be better. Just do note, however, that none of the skill bonuses on Voldrak's Crusher actually apply. All you want is the physical damage. Anyway, back to killing him more. Alrighty, and there it is. So I picked this up. I picked up a number of blue items along the way as well, and I'm just going to check this. I may end up using that. So, as I was saying, I picked up a number of blue items along the way. None of these blue items actually are any good except for these ones, which I'm not going to use anyway. So, Mistborn Talisman, you can use this if you want. The relic we're using until we get Juggernaut really kind of just doesn't matter, but we do need to get this. Now, this is the second time I've farmed this particular... what is it called? Relic blueprint for this character. I did it once on this character now, and I've done it once on my test character before I did this. On the test character, it dropped the second time I killed him. On this one, it's taken me 27 minutes, about half an hour, give or take. I did, however, find a really nice weapon. This weapon will do me until 40 when I put this one on. So this one is good. Earthbound is a very nice prefix. It comes with that Earth Ward. When I get hit, I have a chance to get a bunch of armor and regen. You can get Earthbound on, I think, helmets is the other place you can get it. And I'll chuck a chip claw in there, why not? So yeah, I think it was about half an hour. Regardless, we need it. If you, for some reason, can't get it from him, from Voldrak that is, there is also another boss over here in the East Marsh. I think is it Baelgor? I forget what his name is, but you can also get it from a troll boss in the East March if you happen to have massively outleveled the place. I think this place goes up to 41, so you should be good to get this drop until 51, I think. But regardless, got it now. Let's head back to Homestead, and let's continue on. Let's just double check the things I wanted to do. Oleron's Blood is next, so yes, we are progressing the story at this point. Do remember, hang on to at least 1 or 2 of these. I did get a Superior of Ruin. I was using the Officers of Wildfire before that. I also picked up a Frenzied of Ruin. It doesn't matter which ones you get, just hang on to 2 of these and you're good to go. Voldrak's Crusher is the superior weapon. I happen to get a pretty good one here, Earthbound of Ruin. If you don't have one of these, don't worry about it. We're going to be using the Obsidian War Cleavers before long, so don't stress about that. With that said, we have some story progress to get into. Now, coming up, where are we? Asterkarn Road, all up through here. It's all ethereals until, well, even right up to the Necropolis here. About halfway through the Necropolis, it changes back over to Chthonics. But until there, it's all ethereals. If you don't want to do something like Aether Resistance Potion, which actually I wouldn't recommend for general use purposes, the potions are good for, I'm going to use this for this boss. They're not good for, I'm going to have this active for the next 2 hours. So if your Aether resistances are a bit rubbish, someone mentioned in the previous video's comments that you can come in here and just get a Purified Salt. It'll go on your weapon. You'll lose some damage, that's true, but this is 20 Aether Resist and 3% max, so I am actually going to make one. And similarly with Chaos, so this is Salt, the other one is Silver. So Imbued Silver will give you the same thing, but for Chaos. This one does give you damage to ethereals as well. So actually this is probably, now that I'm looking at it, better for this section than the Chip Claw is. With that said, let's go ahead and keep that. Do I have a Mark of the Traveler? Beautiful. Right. One last thing to do. Put that Purified Salt on. Means I need to destroy, unfortunately, a Chipped Claw. Put that on there. And I did realize after I'd killed Voldrak the first time that I hadn't actually assigned Oleron's Rage to a button. Don't be like me. Make sure you put your buffs on a button and turn them on. I had put 2 levels, I think, worth into Oleron's Rage before I actually turned it on, so derp. Right, to the Asterkarn Mountains. Now we've got our belt, we've got some, we've got components on everything. I think we're pretty much ready to go. Immediately making a liar out of myself when I said that we didn't have any more chaos to deal with. These guys obviously are Chthonic cult members. We're maxing Oleron's Rage, so next level will go in there as well. And obviously everything into Physique from now until level 100. And I do often cut this particular section of the game out. I think I'm going to leave it in this time. Just in the interest of showing as much as I can. I will cut out repetitive things like farming. But I think for just traveling, showing the quickest way is not a bad idea. This little section here is always here. Childred is always here, and these Aether Crystals are always here. And I do make sure to hit him on the way through. He doesn't always drop a Tainted Brain Matter. Coming up on 38, I believe now, I am too high a level to get crystals from the Warden's laboratory. So now if I want Aether Crystals, the best place to get them is the mine here, Morton's Claim. That place is a very good place to die as well. So if you don't want to risk death, I highly recommend avoiding that area. And you kind of don't really have a good place to farm for it until we get to probably the front of the Necropolis. The other places you can go is just here. You'll get 3 every time. And also the Arcovian Foothills Rift, and just head a little bit east and you'll get, until yesterday I would have said you'll get 3 or 4, but apparently you can get as few as 1, so keep that in mind. We are also now at the point where if you have rubbish for legs, and my legs are not amazing, but they're not, I wouldn't call them rubbish either. We can start thinking about doing the hidden path, at least up to the second hidden area, so as we can farm for Soleil Sect boots, or pants, sorry, that have the attack damage converted to health built in. A lot of people swear by those pants, a lot of endgame builds use them. They are good, but here's why I'm not going to. 1. Blue and purple pants with very high armor values are relatively common. You will be using blue pants for most of your leveling experience. And the high armor value and good resistances and blah 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 are very useful all the time. The attack damage converted to health, when you're not panicking and running around trying to get away from something, it's nice to have. But you're going to have a bunch of defensive stuff that just works. Whereas if you are relying on attack damage converted to health, then you actually have to be hitting things. And usually when your potion's on cooldown, your health is below half, you're panicking, you're trying to run away, you're not trying to hit things. So For me, I prefer to have more armor on my pants than some attack damage converted to health. And unfortunately, the Soleil Sect pants, well, all three of the Witch Cult's pants, are just regular pants. They don't have a decent amount of armor on them. And so I prefer not to use them when I can. There's nothing really wrong with them, and having more attack damage converted to health can actually keep you from getting into the situation where you're panicking and running away. But at least for me, I prefer to have as much armor as I can get, especially on chest and pants, because they are the pieces that get hit the most. But as much armor as I can get, and then have the Of the Grove proc, the Juggernaut relic, the Crab devotion points, the Scales of Olkama, the Tortoise, all this defensive stuff that just works. You don't have to push a button to turn it on. Mirror of Arioctes from the Arcanist is the most powerful defensive button in the game, but it's still a button. You have to push the button or it does nothing. And so, at least for me, I prefer to have my stuff trigger when I get hit and not require any input from me. Ordinarily, I would drop a portal here and then continue on towards Fort Ikon. We are, however, not on the quest to go in there just yet, because I skipped going into Fort Haron, which was a mistake. And being as how that quest can go one of two ways, you actually have to have the quest in order to spawn the guy at the end. So I could go down there right now and, I forget his name, but the undead guy we're being sent in there to kill, he won't exist yet, so there's literally no point. So we're going to go into Fort Ikon, and then immediately turn around and teleport back to the Blood Grove. So that was definitely a mistake. Times like these, I like to turn the loot off. You'll see there's a cross on the bottom there. That is so I can see what's going on. There is going to be several waves worth of things to kill here. When you see those spikes, just stop attacking. You can't actually hurt him, and you'll end up reflecting all your damage back to yourself. Alright. So because I turned this off, it didn't actually do anything. Let's have a look at those rings. No resist on this one. The rest is nice, but my rings, I want resistances. I don't care for anything else. This one here, you know, I think I want to wear this instead of the Skinner family seal. So we're going to chuck that on. That has given me a little bit of vitality and some poison. So my poison is now 20 over. If I wanted to, I don't, but if I had another anti-venom salve, for example, on my helmet, I could now take it off. And it's also given me, I think it actually cost me some vitality. Once I put a soul shard on that, we'll be good to go. And actually, since we're going back, the general idea though is get resistances on your rings, get armor everywhere else, and generally speaking, the build will take care of itself until Elite, and we'll have a big breakdown when we get to Elite on are you ready, but for now don't stress about it. So, like I was saying, if you need Aether Shards, the best place to get them is in here in this mine, and if you ended up having to side with the Death's Vigil, if you ended up having to side with them, then you will have to go in there anyway, because this quest that I'm doing here, if you side with the Death's Vigil, this quest will take you into the bottom of that mine, and it's a little bit dangerous in there. For us though, heading in here, you want cold and vitality resistance. That was the main reason why I made sure to swap that soul shard over, because I knew this place was coming up. Alright, so we are interested only in the guy at the end of this little area, all of the stuff on the way. We can kill this, but it's not why we're here. We want, what's his name? Ravok? Yeah, Master Ravok. There is going to be a dynamite here. And then if we look just north of Master Ravok, there is another one. So this is the guy we're here for. Let's just kill him. Do make sure you use your blitz on him. We want to... Alright, hang on. We want you to go away. If you have a look at blitz, it will... It doesn't say it there. This one here, blindside. The bottom line there, 90 reduce target's defensive ability. This will let us crit more. We want to use this. It will also apply a dot, obviously, but we want the reduced defensive ability on the target. That's basically the same as having an extra 90 offensive ability. So, alright, he's dead. So we will head back to Sora's Bastion. We'll turn this in, then we'll go get the ashes. As I said, I should have done this before we started heading north, but at the end of the day, it doesn't make a massive difference. Okay, I must rest. Yep, absolutely. And by rest, what I mean is come down here and talk to Brother Miranok. And I actually meant to click on the tick. Alright, as long as we're here, let's go ahead and dump all this. And then have a look at those pants that I just threw away. 10% Aether Res, kinda want it. That's kind of a lot of... You know what? We're swapping that as well. And you can have those. Alright, the armor value on those pants is too good. 10% Aether Resist is nice, but I want the armor. So keep the add-on, chuck that on the pants, and we are now heading to slay the necromancers guarding the ashes, which is Tomb of the Archon. Since we've already killed everything, this should be a nice smooth run north. Do remember here as well the Tomb of Korvac. We'll be heading in there more than likely before we head into the Necropolis, because we have some components to make. And some of those components need the these things. Chthonic Seals of Binding. I think we need 8. But we will get to that. Alright, heading in here, you basically want to have Vitality and Cold Resist. Probably 50% is, in air quotes, enough. But obviously more is better. And since we're not going to be doing the totem in here, we can just basically walk on through. And now we will get hit. And these Deathbolt Archers, if you get enough of them together in a group, they can hurt. But aside from them, nothing in here is really that scary. There is some loot in here if you're interested in that sort of thing. A lot of this stuff is just kind of in the way rather than being worth killing. And down we go. I was expecting the totem to be here, and it's not, so I'm guessing that means it's going to be on the next floor. There we go. Coming up on 39 as well, which is nice. When we get to 40, I have a nice shiny new weapon to put on. I'm actually looking forward to that. Plus 4 to Force Wave is a huge damage increase. We combine that with our plus 4 to all soldier skills from Helmet, Amulet, Belt, and Relic. We're going to have plus 8 to Force Wave, and then any other item we have that has any skills on it that give bonuses to Force Wave. I think the shoulders from the Malmoth Resistance will give us that. But we should quite easily be able to get to 26 out of 16 on Force Wave, which is going to be great. Okay, so we've kind of made it to the end, I guess, of the Tomb of Archon Bartholem. And that means we're going to clear out this little area here. Stalwart of Supremacy is a pretty good belt. Of Supremacy would be really nice on the belt if you can manage to craft that. You should be very happy. I'm sure at least one of you has to luck out, right? I've been getting all the luck for the last few episodes. It's got to be someone else's turn. If you can get a Devil's Court of Supremacy, you're going to be sitting pretty. Okay, this little secret passage, we'll be back for that. We have a date with the Necromancer first, though. So, how do we kill him? Like this. And now we pretty much just stand here and force wave his face until it falls off again. Make sure you grab the ashes. Make sure you pop the chests in this back room here. We are going to be leaving via Riftgate, and we are not going to go out the back door. So there we go. Battle Fury, what does that do? Okay, we can actually trigger that. So that is a heal proc on our gloves that we can trigger. Unfortunately, that is a lot of resistances we would lose. So we would lose 19% poison, which we could deal with that. We would still be capped. We could lose elemental. That's fine. And we would lose 12% chaos. And since this does have a 30-second skill recharge, I kind of can't justify it. If that recharge was, say, 10 seconds or 12, that would be doable. Okay, this little secret area here. You know what? I never go anti-clockwise. I always go clockwise. Let's go this way, see what happens. These ghouls do bleeding damage. That red puddle on the floor is bleeding damage. So make sure your bleeding resists are okay. Last time I came into here, I think I had about 60%, and it was fine. So whatever you've got, I'm sure will be fine. And of course, you can just step out of the puddle. Alright, Necrothan the Timeless. I believe the medal he drops was one of the ones I was looking at. Nope. No, it wasn't. But that does have a bunch of chaos resistance on it, so it may be worth using anyway. Because I don't need the poison and acid resist. Let's just chuck it on and see what happens. How's our health? 6-5, 6-3. So we lose about 200 health. Lose some regen. I think I'm going to leave that. I do want the... Do I? I don't want the Wardstone, but I will be uncapped on bleeding if I don't take it. Well, there's some bleeding resist. We're not going to use that. Okay, this is what we're here for. Let's grab this and be on our way. Did just grab another ring. Where did it go? There it is. Aggressive of Blight. I'd just like to point out that's another double rare. I seem to be getting a lot of those lately. I'm not complaining, I'm just pointing it out and kind of audible question marks appearing above my head. Bleeding res. I am seriously considering swapping these in. So we don't need the pierce res. We would lose the... we need the poison. That's fine. Alright, as far as our devotions go, what were we doing? Toad next, wasn't it? Let me just double check that. What do we got? So, after the hawk, we take that back, which we've already done. Then we go crossroads purple, and then yeah, it's the toad. Alright, we're done here. So let's head on over to, I guess we'll go back to Sorrow's Bastion and turn that in. And then we don't accept the next quest. The next quest is to kill Bane Gargoth, I think it is. He is very deep in a chthonic area, and I'm not interested in going into those just yet. Okay, so Picked up Conflagration, which I guess is nice. And I think I'm done with this madness, is the one you want to pick. We are not taking the next quest, because we do not want to set foot into chthonic areas that we don't have to go into, basically. As far as stuff we want from them, we will want Haunted Steel and Blessed Whetstones, but Black Tallow is basically the one we want for now. So Black Tallow is an Aether Soul, but Chaos version, basically. Less damage from Chaos, Chaos resistance, and defensive ability, and it's almost exactly the same as an Aether Soul. Having said that, our Chaos res is really, really good. It's an Aether Ward. We can put an Aether Soul on this, and we should be good to go. How are we doing for time? Half an hour. We can do a bit more. We can definitely do at least Fort Ikon, but I want to get another Aether Soul. I think I have one in the bank, actually. I want an Aether Soul on here. Ideally, I want to get rid of this, so I can put the Scaled Hide here and put a Sanctified Bone on my chest, but it appears that that is unlikely, at least for the moment. Here's my Aether Soul, which I'm going to put on there. So Aether is now capped, Chaos is capped, everything is capped except we are missing a little bit of bleeding and a little bit of vitality. And the vitality will be fixed after we kill the Ligorian, if not before, because we'll get the elite version of this and we'll be good. And I definitely need to get some better shoulders. But that's fine. For now, I think we're good. Alright, what are we up to? Inquisitor Creed at Fort Ikon. We'll go talk to him. Remember, Black Legion reputation is all we care about for the moment. Once we get respected with the Black Legion, which we're kind of halfway there. Once we have that, we have Juggernaut. If you've picked up the recipe as well, which there's a decent chance you will. The reason I left the farming of this until around 30, and the farming of what was that relic we spent 20 minutes farming for at the start of this episode? Mistborn Talisman. The reason I left those until around 30, 35 is so as we would have a chance to drop Juggernaut as well. Right, that is Oleron's Rage maxed out. That's 12% movement speed, so we definitely are at the cap now, which is lovely. And 1 point in physique, of course. Next level, we get our lovely Obsidian Warcleaver. So let's see if we can get that this episode. And in the meantime, we will head into... oh, I need my movement rune as well. In the meantime, we'll head into the Fort Ikon area. And we'll go kill Lucius. Now, Lucius is the scariest thing between here and the end of the base game. And honestly, I'm not expecting any issues from him. Especially if you have decent Aether resistances, you should have no trouble at all. If you don't have decent Aether resistances, go and get them. It's not hard. A runestone in your helmet, an Aether Soul on your amulet and your medal, and Purified Salt on your weapon. And you can just buy Harvest Footpads as well. Between all of those, you should be pretty close to capped, if not capped. So, Lucius should be... I won't say he's going to be a complete pushover, but he's going to be a complete pushover. I will pick this up, and I think I will use it. Will I? No, maybe not. But I'm going to pick it up to sell anyway. This area is good to farm, especially the commanders and the Fleshwarp commanders and the Fleshwarp Vanguard, because they dropped the MIs we are using for our body armor and our helmet, and potentially our shoulders if you can find one with good enough resistances to replace the incendiary ones. So the ethereal planes that are coming up are definitely an area where you can get your armor updated, get it up to level. Going through here with Voldrax's Smasher, though, or whatever the actual name of this weapon is, should be relatively easy. Everything should be dying in 1, maximum 2 hits. Alright, I don't think there's anything back there I'm too interested in. These guys have guns. If you somehow still don't have your Aether resistance pretty much maxed, don't forget you can just use potions as well. I definitely recommend potions as for use for bosses, because the duration on them doesn't matter so much, because the boss fight is, what, 20-30 seconds tops. Okay, so Lucius here has 3 attacks that kind of matter. 1, he spits green balls at you. You want to avoid these. Relatively easy. 2, he has like a flamethrower attack that he'll kind of wave in your general direction. This one will shred your resistances. And then 3, the one that might kill you, is his meteor attack. So, pretty sure I'm just going to kill him before the meteors even land. Yep, we can stand in that. I'll tell you what. 5 total resist reduction. I don't care. Here comes the meteors. I'm gonna stand in it. This is a terrible idea. I think he might have scratched the armor. So it turns out having 80% Aether resistance for that boss is it kind of turns him into a joke. On Ultimate, that will not be the case, and I will not be standing in the meteors in Ultimate. Okay, so we're done in here. Lucius is dead, and we got the supplies. Now you can take the supplies to Homestead if you want. I'm going to tell you not to do that. Homestead reputation is really, really easy to get. Black Legion reputation is not easy to get. Well, it's easy to get, but it comes later in the game. So the only way you get Black Legion reputation is by doing Black Legion quests, or by killing Ethereal Vanguard, specifically the Vanguard, which means your general run-of-the-mill Ethereals don't count. So all of these Ethereals we've been killing are not Ethereal Vanguard. Still just friendly, so I think we'll probably hit Respected just before we get to the Necropolis, or maybe after we open it up. Anywho, the other thing to note as well is on the Respected tab for the Black Legion, some of this stuff is actually pretty good. So that's Caster. Here's the heavy armor. Physres is quite rare while leveling, and it's very good. Comes with physical damage, internal trauma damage, offensive ability, plus 2 levels to internal trauma. This is alright. This helmet is also quite good. When hit, chance to strike back and do physical damage, as well as your main hand damage, so you'll leech from that as well. The boots are actually not bad. I would probably, if I remember, I will probably wear these. Right, let's continue on. Now this quest here, Captain Reeve, will allow you to unlock the Anasteria, but it also costs you 250 Black Legion reputation, unless you kill her. And if you kill her, then you can't unlock her later on. So I'm going to leave that for now, because I want my Black Legion reputation to Respected pretty much as soon as I can get it. Once I have it, I will come back. Well, I say I'll come back. I will try to remember to come back and get that quest. Okay, Plains of Strife. If we had honored with the rovers, we would be able to go into one of the areas, of the chthonic rifts in this area, and we would be able to do a quest in there. We don't, so we can't. This helmet is considerably better than the one I'm wearing. I'm actually going to go and swap that over right now. all that extra armor in addition to having Aether resistance as well as all the stuff I already had. We are going to keep the add-on. And there's a good chance I'm going to be replacing this and also the Fleshwarp plate mail before we get to the Necropolis. And that's fine. We can just bounce back to town. Bounce back to town and swap over the components. When you do change an item like that, always, well, pretty much always, you want to do your component at the same time. And if it means you have to go back to town, well, who cares, really? Go back to town or die. I know which one I'd rather take. That one is not as good. When I'm checking these items, the first thing I'm looking at is the armor value on them, and then the next thing I'm looking at is the resistances, and then after that, the other stuff. So if two items are very similar, except one of them has lots more health on it, or something like that, that's when I would be looking at those sorts of values. Alright, ethereal obelisks are a pain in the backside, I hate these things. That one's dead. Okay, when we come through here on Ultimate, we're going to stick... look. What we should do is stick to the left-hand side so we don't have to deal with my good friend whose name escapes me right at this very moment. It starts with L. Locksmere. Locksmere. We don't want to deal with Locksmere. That's what we should do. But, this is one of the few builds that I have played where Locksmere charging into your face, dispelling all your buffs and doing a ton of damage just doesn't matter to this build. So it is good to go down the right hand side and give Locksmere a taste of her own medicine. Alright, we are into the gates of the Necropolis. So we're almost at the point where we're ready to enter the Necropolis. And I'm looking at my XP bar and I'm going, I can't wait for level 40. Because at level 40, not only do I get a nice shiny new weapon, but I get to become a Death Knight. Level 40 is the level at which we are going to be taking our second class. And that will be something to discuss, I think, at the start of the next episode. We're probably running a little tight on time to fit all that in this episode, but as a Death Knight, the first levels are kind of a little bit boring because we're basically just putting points in the bar. Forsaken, you can probably, well, you can definitely do this. Again, it's going to be down to, do you think the risk is worth it? Because if this pops up 5 Ethereal Titans and they all charge you at the same time, you're going to have a bad day. More than likely it will be fine. I have played this build a couple of other times. This was my first hardcore level 100, and I'm pretty sure I did every totem the whole way from level 1 to level 100. But there were definitely a few times where I thought to myself that I should not have clicked on that totem. So player's choice. If you want to do the totems, I'm going to keep skipping them at least for a little bit, but it is really up to you. And I believe that you can do it. Well, I know it's doable. It's just down to how good is the pilot and how lucky is the pilot as well. I'm going to drop a portal there and come back. That may, just looking at the time, that may be the last thing we do this episode. But we are going to come back for it. Now, I can see on my map there the devotion shrine for this area. We definitely want to do that. We'll get started on the toad, which will give us some lovely green and purple, which is what we want, along with, you know, generic stats. I think it has, I know it has pet attack damage converted to health. Does it have the same for the player. Where are we? Toad. Vitality. It does give you a little bit. Lovely. Okay. Next thing we're looking for is the next rift gate. And we are back into fighting Chthonics mostly now. And the further north we go, the more we'll see them. Okay, so turn the loot off here and get ready to force wave your way to victory. There is level 40. Hooray everybody, time for a new axe. Also, this guy here, we're going to start running into more of those now, so if you don't already have your own axe, now is when you will start getting them. Okay, let's have a look at what happens to Force Wave. 1 point in there. So our Force Wave is currently 7.4 to 11.5. I'd say that's a decent upgrade. I definitely do want my Aether Resist back, so we'll go get that. And hopefully I can remember not to reset this, although it shouldn't be too hard, we're only going one place. Alright, keep my add-on, keep my item, chuck that on there, and where is my Aether Ward? If you're playing this in patch 1.2, you won't have to worry about turning these on, they'll just be on, which is going to be fun. Okay. We are going to be a Death Knight. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to spend those points just yet. We will cover that at the beginning of the next episode because I want to go through what to do for any other class as well. And so we'll cover that then. In the meantime, let's go get our devotion point from this tomb. And this tomb is full of bleeding damage, which is not great because my bleeding resist is not capped. The basic gist of where you want to go in this area is over here to the left and then go down the wall here. Now obviously I can't do that because, well, the door is shut. But you want to get over here so as you can get into these tunnels, and then you follow the tunnels all around the edge of the map. You kill off swarms of ghouls and undead, which I guess is kind of the same thing. And just keep heading around the edge. Basically you come in here, you go, it's like a big spiral, and then into the middle, which is where the devotion shrine is. A lot of this stuff you can just run past it. A lot of it is good for dashing too. Speed up your travel. Alright, so now we're into the actual tomb. There's going to be a lot of undead here, and there is a boss in the middle. You can choose to fight the boss. You can also choose to ignore the boss. Run over here. Activate the shrine. And then just leave. I'm going to kill him because, you know, I want to. And I'll kill his friends as well. Okay, I wasn't expecting the Rover's rep, but, you know, I'll take it. Alright, and then we'll put that into the Toad, which you definitely shouldn't do while you're under attack. And now we'll head back to town. Because we are done for this episode. So thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and bye for now.